Hey guys, welcome back to the BuzWeaver channel. And in our top stories today from NPR, that's National Public Radio, or as we like to call it here on the BuzWeaver channel, non-pro-Republican. Supreme Court upholds Trump's ban on transgender military members while appeals continue. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's very important to point out the very obvious here. And that is the president is the commander-in-chief of the military. He is also the chief executive of the United States. However, the Democrats and Trump detractors don't want him to be the commander-in-chief or the chief executive. And so they do these stopgap measures, as I call them, or legal timeouts to really slow him down because they can't really stop him from doing it because he is the commander-in-chief. They understand. The Democrats understand. I don't know how much the left understands that once a person becomes president, they have some extraordinary power. The U.S. Supreme Court on Tuesday allowed the Trump administration to begin executing its ban on transgender military service members. At least for now, the justice blocked a lower court order that temporarily halted the ban's enforcement. I like this. Allowed. Right. The court's three liberals said they would have denied the application. Well, here's the thing about the Supreme Court, as we said here on the BuzWeaver channel many times. They are supposed to base their decision on the rule of law, not their political position. They're supposed to be apolitical. Shortly after President Trump was sworn in for the second time, he signed an executive order banning transgender individuals from serving in the military. The Defense Department promptly barred transgender individuals from enlisting and discharged active duty soldiers as well. Thank you very much, Public Radio. The new policy mimics a previous transgender military ban established during the first Trump administration. The Supreme Court allowed that controversial Trump policy to remain in place in 2019. But it was reversed by President Biden shortly after he took office because Biden was the commander-in-chief. Ladies and gentlemen, how much simpler can it be? They understood what was going to happen if Donald Trump became president. This is why they smeared him constantly, tried to convince everyone that he was a one-dimensional villain. Then they went so far as to go into lawfare to try to shut him down, bringing up old statutes of limitation cases and brought them in as civil cases and raised them to felonies. It's just unbelievable. Supreme Court issues shock ruling on Trump's trans Trump ban, says this would be the UK Daily Mail. And I just want to read a little from here. It says on January 20th, President Trump signed an executive order ordering Hegseth to enact a ban on individuals with transgender dysphoria serving in the U.S. military. District Judge Benjamin Settle in Washington State ruled that the ban violated the Constitution's guarantee of equal protection and barred the government from enforcing Trump's policy. The thing about being the commander-in-chief is you are in control of the military, right? That's your job. Now, if you want to go to war, you have to get Congress involved. But as far as the military in and of itself, that's what the commander-in-chief does. Now, of course, he takes advice from his advisors. He takes advice from different groups of individual people, of course, and Joint Chiefs of Staff, those sorts of things from the military. But ultimately, he is the commander-in-chief. He's the one who decides what happens. And let's see what NBC has to say about this. They're breaking news.
We are following breaking news from the Supreme Court.
The justices are allowing the Trump administration to move forward with its ban on transgender people from serving in the military pending an appeal.
NBC News legal analyst Danny Savalos joins us now. Danny, we just got this decision, so I know you're probably still reading through it, but this is nuanced a little bit. But for this moment, the Supreme Court is saying you can go ahead with your ban.
Exactly right. And this wasn't much of a surprise because almost the same thing happened back, you may remember, in 2018 during the first Trump administration. District courts tried to enjoin the administration from their ban back then, and the Supreme Court essentially overturned that. So not a big surprise that the Supreme Court has allowed this case to go forward and allowed the Trump administration to continue their proposed ban.
So then what comes next, right? Because this is just sort of allowing the stay while it's all in process.
Exactly. So as is often the case with the Trump administration, we're dealing with stays and then appeals of the stays and the stay of that stay and then stay on top of a stay. And it
Exactly. Donald Trump is the chief executive. He is the commander-in-chief. The Democrats are running an obstruction game. They're just obstructing. I'm glad that he pointed this out so you can see exactly what I've been saying. I'm just going to play that one more time.
Of the stays and the stay of that stay and then stay on top of a stay. And it takes a long time to actually get to the merits. So all that happens now is that the Trump administration is allowed to go forward with the ban.
And that's what is going to happen. It's going to move forward. But they want to stop at any and every opportunity because they know they are not in control, right? They're like a spoiled child. They'll find some way to create some sort of irritation, some annoyance because they can't get what they want. They're not getting what they want or they're not in control.
Until this case is decided on the merits. It will likely go next up to the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals over on the West Coast. And then from there, almost certainly, as with many of these Trump administration issues, it will land at the Supreme Court.
Because it will go to the Supreme Court because they already know the plan. They already know the route, right? So they know that they can just sit here, call these legal timeouts, obstruct basically is what they're doing in simple terms, because the same thing they did with the lawfare against Donald Trump. And so this is their methodology. Instead of providing the Americans with some solutions to problems or providing some sort of something for the American people, this is what they're doing. This is what they do. They obstruct the president. That's basically what the Democrats are doing. That's their job now. Obstruction.
What's the reality of this? What does it mean for someone who may be transgender serving right now in one of the armed forces? Does that mean that right now they could be asked to leave?
Depending on how the military is administering that, then yes. I mean, that's the whole point of seeking the stay. You're saying, hey, this is something that could cause immediate harm to people in the military right now. However, the Trump administration decides to administrate that, yes, they may be out of a job.
Yeah, imagine that. The commander-in-chief making decisions about how he wants to run the military. Imagine that, ladies and gentlemen. What a stunning revelation, is it not? And, of course, here on X, we have, of course, always people that have their own opinion about it. Here we have Tex American. Supreme Court rules in favor of Trump allowing him to enforce ban on transgender service members. I think this was some of the illustrations that many use. This is Lloyd Austin, by the way, right here, in case you were wondering, the Secretary of Defense. This was back during COVID. That's quite an overt and over-the-top way of handling that. Just in, a massive legal victory for President Trump and the U.S. military. The Supreme Court rules 6-3 that the Trump administration can immediately begin enforcing his transgender ban. Imagine that. You go get a job, right? And people at that job may be trying to stop you from doing that job, but your boss says, I need you to do this, that, and the other. Imagine that. It's your job. Or you're the business owner, and you're telling people what you would like for them to do at his own business, at their business. It's extraordinary. It's absolutely incredible. But that is... So basically, in a nutshell, ladies and gentlemen, the Democrats will continue to obstruct Donald Trump. That's what they're doing. That's their entire strategy. They aren't offering people anything. They're still trying to find somebody in the Democratic Party that can help them with the party to create some sort of, as people like to say, X-Factor. There's no one there. And the Democrats, if they continue on this path of progressivism, ideology, philosophy, and worldview of leftism, who knows what's going to happen in 2026. I'm pretty sure that, obviously the left will still be the left. They'll still vote for whoever, vote blue no matter who. But nonetheless, guys, I welcome your thoughts down in the public section down below. I know some of you are veterans of our military, so your thoughts are welcome down there in the public section, what this means to you. Now, as I understand it, recruitment has gone up tremendously now that Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth is in there. So that's encouraging. So there you have that bit of information. But I want to thank all you guys across New Tech, BitChute, Rumble, Odyssey, and even TikTok, which isn't necessarily New Tech, for your guys' continued support. Below this video, ladies and gentlemen, you can find my various social media links to include X, where you can follow me as I post there daily. And, of course, my affiliate links down below. So if you order frequently from Amazon or a Prime member, you can use my landing page link. It is safe. It protects your privacy. And privacy online, ladies and gentlemen, VPN, Trust Zone, my favorite, no bloat VPN, as I like to call it. But, guys, I want to thank you so much, all of you here on the YouTubes as well. That's the channel icon appearing there on the screen. You guys can click on that to subscribe, as well as select notifications. That way you know when there's content here on the channel. And I'll see all you guys in the next video.